Welcome back, guys, to the Yoki Way podcast. This is episode 8.
Hello. Good morning, good night.
What? It's nice to have you guys back. I know we missed an upload last week, so that's an L on our side, but we're going to try not to do that again.
Mhm.
We want to stay really consistent with the weekly uploads. We did record for last week, and I was about to have it public because, we edited the video, but for some reason we messed up on the recording settings, so we recorded in 360p. And I was like, there's no way I'm putting this out for people. The audio was good, but the video was so bad. Like I could not do it. But this week we're gonna catch up on some of the things that we mentioned in the other podcast. But we do have some new things to talk about. And before we get going, I wanted to say wish you guys a Merry Christmas. It's obviously going to be a little past Christmas, but late Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas weekend.
Happy Hanukkah to those.
People celebrating Hanukkah, yeah.
Yeah.
And, I hope you guys had a good weekend with your family, some time with your loved ones. And I hope it was a good weekend because we had a pretty chill weekend. It was just with our parents.
Yeah.
But
like all of our siblings, our sisters are in Virginia. One's married, one's engaged.
Yep. And then the other one's a travel nurse. So they're all in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't make it down to Virginia this year, which is, it
It's
sucks,
a little L.
but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first thing I wanted to mention is that I got sponsored by Inaka Power, which is
Good for you, bro.
which is so awesome. I really wanted to work with them for like a really long time. Last year in December, when we just first started posting fitness content, I really wanted to work with either Yoki Way or Inaka Power because I really liked both brands. And Danny ended up working with Yoki Way, so I was like, you know what? It just only makes sense for me to work with Inaka. And in fact, I actually like the style of Inaka more. Not that I dislike Yoki Way. I think they're both great companies. But if you guys wanted to purchase anything from Inaka, make sure you use code VEN, and that's going to save you some money. They're going to have some sales coming up. I know that we just kind of passed the holiday season, but they usually, do a drop every month. So they have amazing clothing. It's more like streetwear, but use it for the gym as well. They have the best shorts in the game. And they're very versatile clothing. Like, they are very stylish.
Or Youngale, code Yoki.
Yes, or Yoki Way, code Yoki. I mean, they're both phenomenal companies, and we're so fortunate, to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was just so exciting. Like, I remember I hit up Inaka, like, late in the summer, and I was like, hey, I want to work with you guys. I didn't get a response. So when I went to Texas with Danny and Joe, I spoke with one of the guys there that was working at Alphaland. And he was like an employee, but he knew some of the people that worked at Inaka, and he's like, hey, just hit up Big Baller Ant on Instagram. So I followed Big Baller Ant. He followed me back. I DM'd him, and he said, hey, yeah, I'm gonna talk to the people and get you a package. Nothing about working together, but he's like, I'm going to send you a package. So I was like, all right, that's cool. That's a good first step. But he never ended up following through with that, which is whatever. I don't know what happened. And I actually reached out to him again. He didn't respond. I don't know. But I ended up hitting up Charlie Cooker, which is the owner of Inaka. And the first time I hit him up was like the summer, but about 2 weeks ago, I was in bed and I couldn't sleep about around 1:30. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just DM him, Charlie, because I go to Instagram. I scroll on Instagram and I see that he posted something that day. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to DM Charlie Cooker one more time. Just shoot my shot. And I wake up in the morning the next day and I see that he responded and he's like, you know what? I'm going to tell Ashley about you and I'm going to have you all, I'm going to have you work with us. So I got pretty excited and I DM'd Ashley. I emailed Ashley and, we figured it out. And now I'm an Inaka athlete, which shows that if you just shoot your shot,
you never know what can happen.
You never know what can happen. So
Well,
definitely shoot your shot.
At that point, like, you had nothing to lose, Just you'd get no response back and, oh, no, life moves on,
And it's interesting because earlier in the year, like, I had other brands hit me up and they wanted to work with me and everything, but I just had that firm belief that, you know what, I'm just going to wait longer, but I'm going to work with a brand that I really want to work with. And, and that was Inaka Power, and it ended up working out.
It's funny. That's the same story for me. Back in junior year, I was in school, and I would have, like, a decent amount of followers, and my friends were asking me, yo, why don't you work with some of these smaller companies or whatever? Has any companies hit you up? I'm like, yeah, but they're, like, not as big, and I don't even know them myself. I've never heard of them. So why would I work with them if I don't even, not necessarily like them, but, like, know about them? And I always said, I'm going to be sponsored by Yoki Way. I always said that. The big dog, I was like, I want the big dogs. And, well, we both got it. which is
Yeah.
crazy to think about. It's been like, I think I'm going on to my 7th month after this. So
Nice.
it's crazy. 7 months. Well, I'm going to be in my 7th, so 6 months right now. Like, it's been 6 months, and that's nuts. I'm so blessed to
Yep.
continue working with them.
Yeah,
They're very
so-
nice people. Like, the people that work there, it's amazing.
And it's cool because like fitness is only getting bigger, and it's nice to see so many more people get into like fitness and self development and like training. And companies like Young LA and Inaka Power are companies that people are going to buy clothing from anyways, and it's such a blessing to be an athlete for those brands where people, you know, that we know and people that follow us are now able to use our code to purchase those clothes, and then we get something out of it, which is great. You
It's
know,
a
like,
win-win.
awesome.
It's a win-win-win. Like,
Yeah.
they win, they make money. The person who buys it gets nice clothing and money off, and
And we get a small commission.
you get small commission, and you are letting us be able to continue working with them, which is like whatever we can like that's the most we can
Yeah.
ask for.
And then, you know, eventually we want to have our own clothing and stuff because like I love fashion, you know. I like nice clothing.
Of
So
course.
we're going to have our own like hoodies and our own shirts and our own like shorts eventually, but until then it's like
Remember what we said about if by the end of this year, if we don't have it,
what was it?
if we didn't have our hoodies up by the end of the year, we're
Yeah, we did say that.
but it's not like technically no though, because now you're working with the Naka, so it's
Yeah.
like
Look, everything has its timing, you know, and as much as I wanted to have our own hoodies this winter, like, you know, it's not like we were just sitting around and not doing anything. Like, I'm speaking for myself here. Like, I'm really focused and busy on like personal training, growing the social media, making YouTube videos. We started up the podcast channel, and like I have so much things going on that is like the last thing I could do right now is just like try to design a hoodie that people are gonna love. And you know,
well, technically we do have a design.
We
and,
do,
like, we
but
have an
it's like-
idea, but we just don't have it put all together. That's
yeah,
the
I'm
problem.
like, for me, like I rather delay the hoodie and
And make
have
it
it exactly what I
perfect,
want,
yeah.
you
Don't
know,
rush
and
it and just try to get money.
yeah,
instead of-
for me, it's not the money. For me, it's like the product.
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of people just rush and make a pretty crappy
Yeah.
product just to make some money. But I personally want like a very nice hoodie where like I can just rock it because I
Yeah.
love it. And
Exactly.
I want people to actually want to wear it, not just because it's theirs. It's like I'm supporting. No, it's because I actually like this hoodie.
Yeah, it's like a cool ass piece of clothing, you know.
Yeah. Just like Young LA, it's like actually
Man,
nice
I
clothing.
can't believe it's December already.
Yeah. And another thing he just said, when everything falls in place, that doesn't mean just like don't do anything and just let it come to you. It's like, no, you still have to do it. You still have to put time and effort into it. But you can't sacrifice everything just for that one thing. So like slowly it builds up, and then as time passes, more opportunities come for you to work on the specific thing. So it's not like you just wait for a miracle to happen.
Yeah,
But this
well
year
said.
this month flew by, bro.
The whole year flew
crazy.
by.
You know what's crazy? Like hour by hour, it feels semi slow, and like as you're going through the day, but as you're looking back, the days feel quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's always like that, but it's crazy to think about. Do you remember what you did exactly a week ago, like on Monday?
No,
That's crazy to me.
I was just doing things.
You were just
that I
doing
needed to do,
things, you
yeah.
know, and that's the crazy. That's why I preach routines, man.
Yeah.
Because you won't even remember what you did a month ago. But if you have a good routine, that's a funny
good
thing.
game plan.
That's a funny thing, bro. You don't even remember what you're gonna do today, like what you did today in a month. You know, and you have to set yourself up in a really good way.
Yeah, because then you can look back and at least you're like, well,
Even if you don't
Things-
know exactly what you did, you know that you
yeah.
had a good routine. Sorry, I cut you off right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, you can look back and say, you know what, I don't know what I did on Monday, last week or Monday 3 weeks ago, but I know that I was doing something that day, which brought these things into like reality.
Existence, yeah.
Yeah, into existence. Like,
That's a good point.
you know, I accomplished these things. Therefore, my business now is running smoothly. Therefore, now I have a sponsor. But whatever, you know, like at least you're going towards like that end goal, that end result. And that's why I tell people like, hey, have specific goals, have a game plan for those specific goals, and before you know it, they're gonna come into reality. So
That's another funny thing. Like, like specifically, one thing that I would tell people to do that they just don't do, takes literally a minute, is post.
yeah,
Is post. I'm a sucker for like TikTok. I haven't been, but like today I just posted 2 random TikToks. I was in the locker room. I had like 10 minutes. I just posted 2 TikToks, and I don't care if they did good. One of them's gonna blow up eventually. I'm not worried. Like whatever. Like that's a good point. Everything's gonna fall into place, but I still have to put the effort in. I still have to make the videos, and I still have to reach an audience. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I think I want to do like a year recap because the year flew by, and I kind of just want to talk about like my biggest wins and my biggest losses, your biggest wins, your biggest losses, and then kind of talk about like how we're setting up for the next upcoming year.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to start with kind of like your biggest wins?
My biggest wins is I'd like to say the
Try to be specific here.
yeah.
Like try not to have a tangent here. Like try to be
no.
specific.
I'll
Like,
be
what were
specific.
like okay, those are my wins this year.
My wins is finding the right group of people that I'm around. And right now I'm still obviously you're figuring it out every day, but I found myself being around people that actually care for me
Mm-hmm.
and want the best for me and support me and don't look at me as, oh, but he's got this and oh, he thinks he's. Some people are always going to be like that, but for the most part, like my brother, some of his friends, some of my friends that I've just been getting closer, like, and we've been growing together, which is also a really nice thing. So yeah, my friend group I think has been getting better. Another obviously Young LA, which has been crazy. It's helped me like not have to buy a bunch of clothes and just like spend money that I don't really have at the moment. So that's been a blessing to me. And I think the people I met,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people I've met
Nice.
on Instagram, on like social media. I think a lot of people that I've met helped me have a bigger perspective on everything. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
What about you? That was 3. So give me 3.
3 big wins. So
I'm sure you can relate to everything I just
yeah,
said. So
yeah.
if you want to go.
So in the
go
beginning of
with
the
that.
year, I wanted to start a pressure washing company, and I didn't want to like drive around with like a little pressure washer and like spray houses
like,
down.
connected
Like,
to the wall, like yeah.
My goal in the beginning of the year was like I'm gonna invest like 30 grand into a pressure washing business, and I did, and I built myself a professional setup. And the reason I got into that business is because you can make a ton of money. Like I'm not gonna talk money here, but it was a very very good business that I got into, and I made a lot of money during the season in the summer. Now you got to understand that a year ago I was not in the position I am now, so the money I was making, like working with my dad in his construction business, was really good. But I wanted to see if I can double or triple that, and I did. And
It's
that
a
was
risk.
a really good experience because I experienced what it feels like to own a business. And it was like a brick and mortar business, which is not like the business that I own now. Well, I mean, I still own that business, but my personal training business is an online business. But owning that brick and mortar business like gave me such an interesting perspective on like how to run a business, what is overhead,
Set it up.
clients, talking,
Mental
sales,
stress and everything.
dude, insurance. I mean, there were so many components to that I had to get right. You know, like registering, like just driving around, and like it was such a hustle.
Do you have insurance on your personal training business?
I mean, insurance for what?
Like, so they can't sue you that
Well, we have contracts.
you have contracts. Okay, because I was talking to some one of my teacher for back in 8th grade, and I was talking to him how I eventually am going to do this because he's a pretty cool dude, and he was like, you have to be careful because you can tell somebody to do bench or something, and then they drop it on them, break a rib or
Yeah, well,
hypothetically,
Right.
and then they'll just blame it on you because they, you told them to do 5 reps of it, and they
Yeah.
could only do 3. It's like
Of course.
stupid, but
Yeah. Well, no, there's contracts put into place, and there's like you're pretty clear that hey, like I'm not a nutritionist, for example. This is just a suggestion from somebody. Like so. I mean, that's a completely different conversation. But let me just finish my 3 wins. So
course,
yeah,
yeah.
that opening that business was a big win because it was very scary to do that, to invest that money and do it. But it was definitely a good learning experience. The other big win for me was just training for the powerlifting meet
meet,
in
yeah.
October.
I can
because
imagine.
when I went to that MBG retreat
Promo event, yeah.
promo in the summer, I met a couple of people, like online coaches, and I met other fitness influencers, and I got really motivated to actually compete by Clara, and I ended up
Shout out
competing.
Clara.
So that was really tough because when I first started training and got a coach, it was in the beginning, like it was in the middle of summer when I was running the pressure washing business. So I was so tired and so fatigued, and it was really tough to eat enough food and train properly, especially for powerlifting where we're doing a lot of heavy lifting. But I knew that was going to be worth it because I had was one of my goals for last year to compete, and I knew that I had to just push through, and eventually it was going to be worth it. And that taught me a lot. Like, I built so much more mental strength just experiencing what it feels like to train for a competition. So, I mean, that was such a learning experience, such a mental strengthening a period in my life. It helped me become a stronger person physically, mentally. I got to experience what a meet felt like, and I ended up coming in second out of the juniors. I was like 11 pounds away from being the strongest pound for pound in that tournament. I mean, it was an amazing, amazing experience, and that just motivated me to continue and train again for my next meet. So that was a huge win for me. And then the third win, I would have to say, like, getting that Inaka sponsorship. I have a ton of wins this year, honestly, like just like my social media growing the way it did and everything, and that all related to getting that Inaka sponsorship.
Yep.
Like I said, for me, like the amount of money I make from Inaka from this point on won't be life-changing, but the clothing they'll send me is going to be, nice because I don't have to spend the money
I think
myself.
that's life-changing in itself.
Yeah, but just being able to rep a company like that is awesome. So that's a big win. And I think the connections that you're able to then, make, like maybe you're going to be able to, like I'm hoping to eventually collab with somebody like Marco Espiano, like Jack Italian, and some the other athletes in Texas and stuff. But like you said, man, like some of the connections we made this year were awesome. But yeah, I have a ton of wins I could talk about, but those are like some like three of my wins.
I want to add to another win, is my mental health, like my mental strength, because I was always in my head and stuff, and man, like I know when somebody tries to explain what they go through, like mentally, they can't. So I'm not even gonna sit here and try. I'm gonna just say I was, always back and it was on and off. It was a love-hate relationship with myself. But I've learned to accept more, expect the best. No, hope for the best, expect nothing in a way. Because if you expect nothing, you can't get mad at whatever
happens.
Yeah, so that's a big win for that. And another big win is my program, finally hopping on a program. Probably one of the biggest wins I've had in a long time, very long time.
Yep.
Because I've gained I got so much stronger, I got so much heavier. So I hope I got bigger. So
you definitely did.
Man, it's a good feeling, guys. I promise you. Like, you can't just. I get it if you're new to the gym and you're just testing it out. That's fine, but over some time, like, your body gets used to what you do. Like, you're just gonna do the same thing over and over again. You're gonna get like PRs every week, bro. But that's not like ideal. Go on a program, get a coach. This guy right here can coach you if you agree to the terms. It's like you got nothing to lose. There's only stuff to gain.
Yeah,
mentally and physically. So
since you added that one more win, I'm gonna add one more, which is very close. It's pretty much the same thing, but I got a lot more confident in who I am this year. I got a lot more confident in my mission, my passion, my goals, and like I don't feel embarrassed about who I am and what I'm doing anymore. I don't feel like I need to justify myself. I don't need to justify the things I post. I don't need to justify what I'm working towards. I know that I'm changing lives. I know that through the work I do, people are going to be motivated and inspired to be the best version of themselves. And like, that's what I want to do, because me doing this in my life and going down this self-development journey has brought tremendous benefits, and I reaped so much benefits out of all this, and I want people to experience this. I mean, this is, I can't even explain to you how good it feels, right? To transcend into a better version of yourself. I mean, it's beautiful, and I hope people can experience this, and I hope that through my life and through my journey and through my process, I can just inspire people. And I think, I've heard, and like, when I hear people coming up to me and saying, "Hey, Ven, you're the reason I got into the gym. You're the reason I'm posing. You're the reason I'm trying this and that." And I'm like, you know what? Like, that's all I'm doing this for. At the end of the day, I mean, I have a financial incentive as well, but like, the fulfillment aspect comes from that. So that was a huge win for me.
I agree with that. Sorry, I posted a video on my Instagram at the gym and it didn't load, so I'm trying to figure it out. But I just deleted it. And just added a picture of me doing it. Look at this pose. I said action figure.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's kind of funny.
Oh man, what a good year. But of course, when there's a lot of wins, there's a lot of losses as well. So the next question is, what were your biggest losses? Your biggest L's? Or at least one. What was one big L you had this year?
Do you have one in mind?
Do I?
Yeah, for you, like for yourself. I'm gonna need to think about this for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I had several times in the year where I felt. I mean, not just several. I had plenty of times where
I actually got one.
I fell into this mental place for maybe sometimes it was a couple hours, sometimes it was a day, sometimes it was a couple of days where I'm like, what am I doing? You know, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I like? It's weird, man. It was like this thought of like, why are you trying to grow on social media? Why are you posting this? Like, why don't you just live a small life? So I think like even though my one of my biggest wins was me like growing mentally, one of my some of my biggest L's was when my mental strength would fall apart in phases, and I would feel very anxious, very very I'd almost say like it felt very stressful. I had some very very stressful moments this year, man, like with the business, with the yeah, definitely the business was the biggest stressor, and then just kind of like not being happy with the progress I would be making, and it felt like I could be doing more, you know, and like it was a combination of being stressed out, and it was a combination of being anxious of the future, and it was a combination of fearing failure, and it was tough. And on top of that, like I had events during the year where it like outside events where I don't want to talk about that added to those stressors. And I remember like just like a relationship that I had with somebody, like it just some of these league events. Like I don't want to get into detail here, man, but it was definitely a mental battle at those points. And I think the things that have got me through those times were the things that I put into my life, like the disciplines that I put into my life, and kind of having that end result, like that end goal in mind, knowing that what I was working for will be worth it at the end. Like that's what helped me get through those moments. So back to what I was saying earlier, having specific goals and having a game plan is really important, because on your journey, you're going to have times where your mentality is going to say, hey, bro, give up. Why are you doing this? There's no point for you to do this. You know, you should be living a small life. You shouldn't be pursuing these things. And in those times, you should be able to fall back on, hey, remember why you started. Remember where you're going. And that's what saved me in those times.
I think you nailed that.
Yeah?
Yeah, you nailed it. But I would like to add on that. I agree with like all of that. Like there's been a lot of stressful moments, a lot of times where I didn't know who I was, what I'm working for, why I'm working for whatever I'm thinking I'm working for. It's a big loophole, you know. But I took a lot of moments for granted too in my life, especially this year. I just I was in places and I didn't do the most. I didn't take my chances, you know. Sometimes I was like around like really cool people, and I didn't talk enough, or I didn't listen enough, or I didn't have a conversation with the right people. I just like I kind of there was times I just sat back and I just kind of, you know, went antisocial mode, and like that's something that I'm working on, you know, being more in the moment, taking everything in, like whether you hate it, whether you want to go home, whatever it is, just every moment's got its treasures. You just gotta be patient. You gotta find it. Everything you can learn from anything, man. And I don't know. There's been a lot of times, and I'm still working on it. A lot of times I just want to I want to bury myself. I just want to go because I love being alone. But there's also beauty with being with other people. So
Yeah.
that's something I'm working on.
You know, a thing that I struggle with, and I mentioned this on a previous episode, was the issue to being kind of like special, or like having the potential to do something special. I have a hard time a lot of times to sit down and get, which for some people may not understand what I mean. So my bar that I set in my life, my baseline is already very high compared to most people. I already am going to work very, very hard and do so much more than the average person, because that's my baseline now. But the thing is like for me, that doesn't seem like a lot because I'm so accustomed to it. Okay. Does that make sense?
It's a very good point.
Okay. But for me to transcend and get to like the end result, the end goal, I have to do a lot more. And it's not like a lot more where I'm sacrificing my life for it. It's just a lot more than what I'm doing right now. And I have a hard time sometimes sitting down and getting those things done because I'm lazy.
We're all lazy.
Even though for the average person that can look at me in my life say, dude, this guy does so much. But for me, like, I can do.
I feel like a lazy little bum.
I'm lazy because, you know, why did I just sit down on my bed? And because look, in the time period in a day, I can go to the gym, I can work, I can get work done, I can work on my business, I can post on Instagram, I can post on TikTok and edit a YouTube video, and then I'll still scroll on TikTok for an hour and a half, and I'm like, why did I lose an hour and a half of my life? And it was just, I'll catch myself in moments in my life where I'm just lazy, right? Or I'll be late in bed and I'll be scrolling on YouTube or TikTok, and I'll lose like the potential of sleeping an extra hour or an hour and a half because I'm consuming random stuff that I don't even need, right? So it's like, or I have to get something done, right, for a deadline, and I'll push it back and I'll procrastinate and I'll just like kill time by being on TikTok, by being on Instagram, by just like wasting time because like I don't want to sit down and do because I'm a little lazy. So that being said, it's like I have a lot of potential in my life, and to achieve the things I want to achieve and like to grow to the level I want to grow. But the work has to get done. The work has to get done. Like there's no way around it. Okay. So something that I want to work on, and like that's gonna go into our next topic here, is like what are our goals for 2023. I want to get better at being precise on the things I do and like my relationship with my mental state. You know what I mean? Like if I tell myself that I'm going to go to bed at 11:30, I don't go to bed at 11:45 or 12. Like I go to bed at 11:30. And a lot of times like it's not because I'm getting work done. It's because I'm like taking too long to do this, and then I'm scrolling a little bit more on TikTok, and then I'm just like killing time on Instagram, and I'm answering a bunch of people on Instagram and on other social medias. You know, I have to be a man of my word. Like when it comes to myself, that's what I want to get better at. I want to be a man of my man of my word when it comes to my relationship with myself.
It's one thing if you're a man of your word to other people, but I think it's very important if you're a man of your word to yourself.
Right.
You know, you can just fool other people, but it's hard to fool yourself. You know.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't forget that.
You're the biggest clown of them all.
And the thing is, you can lie to someone, they don't know you're lying. But if you lie to yourself, you know damn well that you're lying. Like, it's like you can't hide away from your own truth, you know?
Yeah.
If you know you messed up, and, you know, that's going to stick with you. But I think that's a good point, how you said you want to get better relationship with yourself. I think that's always you can always work on that, no matter if you're the most successful, if you're the least successful, especially if you're the least successful. Yeah, I don't know. That's like a good baseline for people to start with if they want to become something great. If they want to get stuff done, you know, you can have a step-by-step plan and, you know, make $1 million, but you gotta put yourself through it, because you can easily convince yourself that it's too much work. It's not worth it. You know, I can make $1 million some other way. You know, it's like we always give ourselves reasons not to.
Don't listen to your brain.
Don't listen to your brain.
Your brain always wants to do things. Your brain always wants to do the least amount of things with the most satisfaction and the most guess.
But what does your heart want?
Reward. Well, that's the thing. Like your brain is just.
It's a tough question.
I know, but I'm saying your heart can want one thing, but your brain is.
Oh, they want two different things.
Your brain, yeah, your brain functions in 1 and zeros. If the dopamine's 1, it's gonna do whatever it takes to get the 1.
It's true.
So it's a lot of mental training. It's a lot of mental training. So my question to you, Danny, is like, what are some goals for you in 2023?
Expand my social medias, of course. I'm gonna get a lot better at it. I know I will. Like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I want to build a better relationship with, like he said, myself and those who are close to me. And one thing is I want to be more in the moment sometimes, but not like all the way. A lot of times I'm always thinking of what's next. Like for example, right now it's like, oh, after this I got to shower, then get ready 'cause work tomorrow. Like I'm thinking that. I'm like, why am I thinking that? You know, it's not now. Right now is this. This is what I got to think about. This is what I got to worry about. It's good to have perspective what you're doing after, but like just stop clouding yourself. A good example is like when I would go on a date or something. I'm like, I'm not.
You got dates
with men? I'm just kidding. Okay. I'm going on dates, and then I'm thinking of what I'm doing after, or like I I don't overthink, but I'm just like, I just give myself reasons for like, I don't know. It just, I got to be more in the moment. And when I'm in the moment, I enjoy people's company, and people enjoy my company when I'm just loosely being with them, you know?
When you're there.
When you're there, dude. If you're not there, like, mentally and physically, when you're with people, people notice. People can tell. Because they're going to tell you something, and you're like, uh-huh, yeah, okay, uh-huh. But it's like, nah, dude, have a good conversation. Start with the ending of their sentences. They're like, yeah, he's listening to me. You know? It's a good, I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot, because that's something I want to get better at too. Like, I want to be able to have I want to be able to schedule my days better, where I have sections of my day where it's just dedicated to work, you know, and during those moments I don't do anything outside of work, right? So then my focus is fully on that, and then have an off switch and be able to then, right, if I'm on a day, I can purely be in the moment at the day and not worry about work. And right now I feel like my whole life is a big jumble of everything happening at once. Like, I don't have enough structure, and I don't have enough I don't have like enough structure, and I don't have enough um scheduling with the correct like setups to everything, where I'm not stressed and anxious all the time, you know, because like before, like I miss a call, or like I forget to do something, and then I have even more stress, and I really want to get better at that. That's one of my goals for 2023. Just have a better structure of my calendar, of my scheduling, devote certain times for certain things, right? Like, I want to be able to devote time where I can just be in the moment and meditate. I want to be able to spend more time where I'm just growing my relationship with God, like, because I haven't done that enough this year, I feel like.
That's a good point. That's one of my goals too.
Yeah, like, I really want to grow my relationship with God. Like, when I feel like I'm constantly meditating in the Word of God, and that part of my life is at its highest point, then it translates to other parts of my life just being more calm, more confident, you know, like. But when I start to put less attention towards that, it translates to my life being more chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get better there.
I agree with that. I want to get better with God, yeah. Just closer.
Read my Bible.
Yeah, I want to read my Bible. I want to get better at praying too.
Yeah, that's huge.
Prayer is such an important aspect.
There was times during this year where I was so stressed out that I remember there was times in my life where I would just, like, before bed I'd always pray. And I remember at my most stressed points this year, I would lay in bed and I'd just tell myself, you know what, I'm not even gonna pray. Like, I'm being honest. I was like, bro, I don't even want to pray.
How come?
I mean, that's how I felt. Like, I was so stressed, where I was like, I felt so stressed, and like, I was like, I don't even want to pray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to express energy to talk to God at this point. You know what I mean? Because I was so stressed, and I know that's not the proper way to do things, but that's how I felt, and I don't ever want to be in that point in my life again. You know, but yeah, I mean, we learn through these times in our lives. We learn that doesn't necessarily bring anything good, but you know, things will get better. Like, that's I guess in the upcoming year, if I am able to devote more time to things like that and have a better structured a better structured schedule, then I know that things will be better.
100%.
Another goal for me is definitely grow on social medias, but that's obvious. But I want to be able to be more vulnerable to people, because I want people to understand me at a personal level a lot more, because I feel like I have a lot more to offer. And I think people are going to be able to understand that at the end of the day, like, me and Danny, we're humans, you know, like, we
Feel everything.
we are just like you. We're just like you. But sometimes people don't understand that. People put other people on pedestals, and then the people on pedestals feel like they have to be a certain way or portray themselves a certain way.
Then they can't be honest with themselves.
Right,
And they
but
lie to themselves that they don't feel good, and then they go, I'm this guy. I have to be this
Yeah.
guy. I have to be perfect. You know? You're not perfect, buddy. You never will be.
But I want to be able to be as vulnerable and as honest as possible with people, So people can understand, like, look, at the end of the day, we struggle with a ton, you know. We have sins we struggle with, we have things in life we struggle with, but as long as we're striving and fighting the good fight, then that's what matters.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I don't want to find love yet. I'm gonna
You
be
don't
honest with
find
you.
love yet.
I don't want to find it yet, man. I got a lot to work on. I got a lot
You're
to
a young
do.
buck.
I'm a young buck, but you know what? Sometimes you fight yourself and you're like, maybe I should get a girlfriend. Maybe I should get a little situationship. You never know. It feels good, you know, having someone there and, you know.
Right. I think, you know what's interesting? I believe that when you look for a wife, I feel like if you're in the, I think you can find a wife. But the thing with me is, like, I'm not ready at this point in my life
To even look for them.
to look. Because for me, like, I want to date to marry. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to just go on a date with a girl and expect that girl to be the girl I date. I mean, I marry because, you know, I'm going to take other women on dates and find that wife. But I don't want to casually date people and not have an end result of, like, wanting to get married with them. Because I feel like people do that. I feel like, you know, I'm going to date this person for years, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'll move on to the next person. I'm not going to waste my life like
You know
that.
how I think that works? They check enough boxes that they just stick with them, and then they just learn to, like, accept and like whatever else they got. They check enough boxes. Like, if you want them tall, if you want them to work in a specific, like, place, or if they I don't know, have a specific dog or something. Like, they just check enough boxes that you're like, you know, maybe he's like the man of my dreams or woman of my dreams. And then we just, like, kind of force ourselves to just accept how all the other things that they go, like, you know, that they bring, and that we just convince ourselves we love them. And I think you can love somebody over time, just by being with them so much and just learning who they are, getting so comfortable with them. Because it's hard to be comfortable with people nowadays. Very, very hard. Whether even that's just friends, because your friends will just, you know, tease you and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not in that spot right now. I don't want to be.
Yeah.
If it comes, it comes, man. So, ladies, you know, come on.
Ladies.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for the upcoming year. I really am.
I know. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year no matter what. Got to remember the good parts. Remember the bad parts, too, because, you know, you got to know what not to do for next time. But, you know.
Yeah.
I think all of you guys should set up a routine, some goals. Of course, have your big goals, but also set yourself up with, like, goals that you know you can do. Whether it's just like, do my groceries today, come home before this, and then get this done. Like, that you know you can do. Because if you make like a list of goals, you start checking them off. Before you know it, the whole thing is checked off. And you know what? That feels good.
Yeah.
That feels good. Big goals like be a millionaire. That's good to have, but it's like, start slow, man. Like know what you want to do today. You know, get today done.
You know, Jordan Peterson brings up a good point. I want one of his speeches. He's like, if you're not satisfied with where you are, look at all the things that you can change, and then focus on the one thing that you don't like about yourself that you can't change, and change that. Start there. So that's my advice to you. And I want everybody to understand that the things that we talk about are not things out of a textbook. These are things that have worked in our lives. So the things that we're talking about are from our personal experience. Like, I don't want to teach somebody how to live their life. I want to provide people with my story, and I hope that through my story, they can take something out of it and apply it in their lives. And if that helps you and in your life, then I would be so happy, you know? And
you
maybe
can see
it
it happening
won't.
to us. It can happen to you. It's like we're just normal people, you know? We're just dudes.
You know, I can't come on this podcast and teach people how to become a millionaire because I'm not there yet.
So
but when I will be there, maybe I'll have input on that as well. But until then, I'm going to focus on the things that have worked for me until now. And I hope that they can help you and benefit you, right?
That's why we talk about the gym a lot, because we know what we're talking about for the most part. There's obviously things we don't know. There's always stuff to
I
learn.
feel like I'm pretty well versed, though.
That's not what I mean. There's always
I'm
little
constantly
things to know.
learning,
Like, bro, like, what is
constantly
this muscle? Like, I don't know. But I know how it's supposed to feel. I know how muscle's supposed to retract and work, and, you know, simple things like that. It's enough to, you know, talk about, you know, base things off of.
Yeah. You know, this upcoming year, I really want to. I'm going to compete on April 1st, and I hope that I qualify for Worlds and Nationals, for powerlifting for the USAPL. And if I do, I think I'm definitely going to train for that, for a meet because I qualify. So that way I can train for a meet that has the best of the best powerlifters in the world at my weight class as a junior. Because I'm going to be 22 this year, and I'm going to turn 23 next year in January. So I have to compete as a junior before I turn 23. That's crazy. I can't believe I'm going to turn 23 next year
I
in
want to
January.
compete too, man.
Well, I'm turning 22, guys. So
22.
in 2024, I'm turning 23.
2023, I'll be 18.
Woo!
I'll be an adult finally. But that's
Yeah.
crazy. But I want to compete. I want to compete in bodybuilding and powerlifting. But
You could.
I think I could do it. Because right now I'm if I set it up even better, like I have a pretty good setup. But if I specifically train for one or the other, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because I know that even if I'm just strictly doing powerlifting, training every week, just powerlifting, I know I'll still look good, just because our genetics are a little better than we expected when we first started. When I first started, like I'm very blessed that I won't be like ripped and like crazy, but I'll still have a good baseline. So even if I do powerlifting, I get off of that, I finish with that, and I can go right back into bodybuilding, and it'll take me some bit, but I'll look good. I think.
Right.
That'd be cool. I want to hit some big numbers. That's another big goals for me is hit big numbers before I turn 18. Just so to say I can do it. Just so I can say I did it before I turned 18,
Yeah.
17. Like I want to get 315 bench, 5-plate squat.
Before 18?
No, 4-plate. I mean like four.
Oh,
like
4
yeah,
plate.
like
But
four-
eventually.
Yeah, like 4-plate squat. I think I can do. No, 5-plate. That just came out because I was thinking of what you said that you want to get me to 5-plate.
Yeah.
Not before I'm 18.
I was like,
yeah.
bro. Whoa, one step at a time
Hold
here.
up, brother. Yeah, I want to get 405, which I think I can do in like a month. I'll be able to do it. And then for deadlift, I want to start doing deadlifts more and hopefully get 5. I think I can get 5 plates if I start training now. I think I can do 5 plates, so that'd be pretty cool. 3, 4, 5 plate compound lifts. You want to wrap this up soon?
Yeah. I'm going
Yeah.
to say my closing thought here. Like, look, to wrap it up, life is a beautiful journey filled with so many experiences, so many things that are going to happen. And if you put yourself in a position where you have some control and you put the proper things in your life, the proper disciplines, the proper goals, the proper game plans, right? At least you're going to have some control in the outcome, right? Don't live life drifting through life, right? Because you're going to end up wherever. Don't end up wherever, okay?
Where you want to be, man.
And in my life, I noticed that once I started taking control of that, my life has gotten significantly better. And I'm nowhere perfect, and I have so much to work on. And I'm going to continuously get better. And through my process, I hope to continue to inspire people, and I hope to continue to change, make a small change. Because you know what? I can't change the world, but if I can change a small portion of something at a very small level, but that ripple effect then eventually causes more and more change, that's my goal. And I'm super excited. I'm super thankful for the year, for the growth we've had, for the people that have supported us, for the people that have been there by our sides, for the good friends, for the family, for the love that has been shown to us. And my promise to you is that I will continue to provide as much as I can for you, and I'll continue to try to inspire as many people as possible. That's my promise to you for 2023.
Well said. I agree totally with everything you said. My final input is life. I heard some guy say life is like a big hallway, and your end goal, whether it's whatever you want to be, it's a big door at the end. But as you're walking through, there's a bunch of doors to the side, and they're all open. And good or bad, they're trying to drag you in and just take your time away from you. Because once you're in that room, it could be a great feeling, like drugs or whatever, or it could be bad. You know, it could be like a waste of time. It's all a waste of time unless you're doing the right things. You have the good routine, good mindset. That's gonna be blind to you. You know, you're gonna keep going forward. But yeah, that's my final.
And there's nothing wrong with failing. There's nothing wrong with accidentally taking a step in those rooms.
Yeah,
as long as you remember why.
I go there all the time, you know.
But it's not good, but
but you know what? It's about how quick you realize that you're in that room and that you got to get out and go right back into the hallway, straight to your goal. But yeah,
Guys, thank you so much for
Thank
watching this
you.
episode. Much love to everybody. I appreciate each and one of you that comes back weekly. And we hope to see you guys next week. Thank
Yep.
you so much for watching.
Thank you. Have a blessed night, day, whatever it is. Peace out.
Yoki Way out.